Hey, I'm Richard Patrick from Filter. May the rock be with you. Hello.
How are you, Richard?
Good.
Excellent, mate. Great to see you.
Who am I talking to?
You are talking to Troy from May the Rock Be With You in Australia.
Australia, my favorite.
It is. Like we've spoken a few times before, and it's actually great to actually be able to do this now, which is awesome.
Yeah, this is great. This is Zoom.
Yeah, I
We're
know.
we're COVID came up with a solution to people being able to communicate better. It's
And
cool.
it's way better than doing phoners, I'll tell you right now. This is awesome.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I like
But
it.
I know you love this one, and we are not here to fuck spiders, so let's get started.
We are not here to fuck spiders, mate.
Now, mate, the last time we spoke was just over 6 years ago. So let's catch up. How have the last 6 years been for you?
Busy.
Mm.
Making new music with Filter, doing movie scores for movies, having watching my kids grow up, playing shows still constantly around the world, and just living life,
Perfect.
keep going gray and letting it happen.
We all are, man. It's come in the last couple of years. It's starting to come in. So it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Now, we are here, though, because you're releasing an amazing new album on the way. It's called The Algorithm. What are your feelings like before album release time?
I get like kind of like I really want as many people as possible to hear it. You know what
Mm.
I mean? Like I really am psyched. I just get I get an anticipation, because it's like I know it's coming. Like
Mm.
it's really good. It's a great record, and um I'm hoping that the fans really go ape shit when they hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had it for a couple of weeks now, and I can't stop listening to it. So it's just
Cool.
it's so good. Now, it is a monster of an album. Can you give us a bit of insight into the creation and how these songs came about?
Yeah, a lot of it. This record was kind of like I locked myself in my own studio. This is my dojo. This is my workspace, and
Mm.
I I made sure that I was really creatively connected to the record. On some of the past records of the last 10 years, I've really relied heavily on producers and that can be almost like a hindrance to making an authentic Filter record. And so I really just sat here and I learned the gear, I learned a computer, program Logic Pro X, which is my main writing software, and I poured myself into it. And then I honestly worked with people that I was really inspired by, like Zach Monowitz, like Sam Tenez, like Mark Jackson, Ian Scott, and Seth Mosley, and especially my bandmates Johnny Radke, Elias Mullen, Rotten Bobby, and yeah.
Nice.
And I
Sounds
just,
good.
I just, I just, I just really focused on it really hard and made sure that it blew my mind as much as the first three records did.
Yeah, and the one thing I've always loved about Filter, it's the absolute lack of bullshit. Like it's real, like it's life. You know what I mean? Like when you're
Mhm.
writing about the world and everything going on and the likes, is it somewhat therapeutic to put these songs out?
Absolutely. It's super uh, what did you say?
Therapeutic.
Yeah. It's extremely therapeutic. I have a take on the world. I guess if people were to pigeonhole me, they'd call me a Democrat. They'd call me a liberal Democrat. And I definitely, I love the world. I love the people in it, and I'm very concerned about it. So, I mean, most of my heroes wrote what they were concerned about.
Mm.
Bono, John Lennon, Joe Strummer, Al Jorgensen, Nivek Ogre. They all, made sure that they were speaking their mind, and their songs were very topical. And those are the guys I steal from. So you can tell that's what I'm inspired by. And
Mm.
it's a love letter to the world, like each record for me is like a cathartic, scream at the world. I mean, it's my one opportunity to say something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you do it well. And the one I always like to ask about one song that stands out for me. I wanted to ask about "Be Careful What You Wish For" because that song is amazing. Is there a story behind that you can share?
Yeah, I I read a lot of the messages that come in through iMessage or Instagram or Twitter,
Hmm.
and I get some DMs, and I got one that was really, really scary and
Hmm.
really like the guy was a nut.
Wow.
And he was name dropping friends of mine and like saying stuff that he was going to do.
Yeah.
And I I was really distraught over it, and I was like, this is the, unfortunately, this is kind of the sad part of being famous, is that
Hmm.
there's people that know everything about me, but I don't know anything about them. And it's kind of scary, and be careful what you wish for, because with success in music comes fame and stuff like that, and you have to be very careful because there's some crazies out there for sure.
Wow. Jeez. Not the
Yeah,
answer I was expecting, but that's a really, really good one. That's the truth
yeah,
too. I know a lot of artists sort of stop doing social media for a while because it just gets too much sometimes as
right.
well, and they just have to back off. So yeah.
I mean, I get myself into trouble because I politically, I kind of say what I want to say. I don't really hold back. And I get a lot of terrible things said back to me from like
Mm.
Trump supporters or people that are really kind of crazy. And so I just have to be kind of careful what I put out there, unfortunately. I mean, they've said some terrible things,
Mm. Wow.
to me.
Uncalled for. Just
Yeah.
uncalled for. Then the other side of that, we get something completely different from Filter with a song called Burn Out the Sun, which I would have lost money on if someone said, "Hey, who sings this?" I never would have said Filter.
Right.
Like it's so different. Tell me about that one, because that is not a Filter song. Like,
Yeah, it was written by me and Sam Tenez, and I wrote all the lyrics, and I'm super proud of the lyrics
mm,
because basically the whole thing is we got to come together as a people. We have to, as society, we have to be together and we have to work together,
mm,
and don't leave people behind. Let's bring everybody to the party, and it's very optimistic. And yeah, Sam came up with the melody and it
mm,
was lower than I'm used to. And so I had to kind of get down and sing it a little lower than I'm used to. But yeah, I think that's the surprising thing is it's a little bit out of my key, but
mm.
out of my range because it's so low. But I think it works, and I think it's pretty cool.
Tell you what, that one is so different. That could be a single and completely
Yeah.
throw people out. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, well, that's what I like to do. I like to make records that are like super heavy, and then when the light stuff comes, it's like super beautiful and
Mm,
light and airy. And every filter record has that. Every filter record has like the record companies used to call me schizophrenic. They're like, your music's a little schizophrenic, bro. I'm like, yeah, but that's authentically, where it's coming from. It's coming from a good place.
mm. That's
It
the
was
sticker
hard.
on the album.
It's a harder thing for them to, because he was like the president of the record company was saying, not this record company, well, this was 20 years ago.
Mm.
He was saying something like, you're heavy metal, so be heavy metal. And I'm like, am I?
Yeah.
Like, I'm modern rock, I'm like, let's be vague as hell. I'm modern rock,
Mm,
like am I alternative? Am I industrial? I don't know. I come from Nine Inch Nails, so I'll take the industrial, but like I
mm.
still like hang out with, Darcy from the Smashing Pumpkins, and my what I mean? Like my
Yep.
friends are alternative for sure, like I feel like our music's very eclectic, and I think that works in our benefit.
Always does, always has. So continue doing it, please. Now, you mentioned Al before. Sadly, you were heading over to see us back with Ministry in 2017, but that unfortunately got cancelled. So has there been talk of a return to Australia?
We are absolutely coming back to Australia, and this time we're just going to headline it ourselves.
Yes. Excellent.
Yes,
That
and
works for
it's
me.
it's going to be a huge big deal for us because we absolutely love Australia. We adore Australia, so it's a very big thing for us, and we're coming back, not only Australia but Auckland as well, New Zealand too.
Oh, so
So
it's actually sounds like it's pretty much done and done.
it's coming up. The announcement's coming up within the next couple of days.
There we go. Excellent. Looking
Yeah.
forward to it. 'Cause, you know, it's mate, it's been 10 years. If it's next year, it's been 10 years.
We haven't headlined,
Mm,
which means play an hour and a half or 2 hours. We haven't headlined in Australia in like 20 years. So yeah,
let's do that.
we've done 40-minute sets, and we've opened up the shows, with the different festivals and stuff like that.
Mm,
But we haven't played a proper hour and a half, 2 hours, and believe me, we have, there's the five big, kind of hits that we have, but we have so many amazing, great songs from 8
mm.
records to choose from. So it's definitely a great show, and I really, really hope everyone gets a chance to go to it.
I will most definitely be in the Sydney show. I can't wait for that. That's very exciting. Now, what has been the biggest or most notable evolution in the way that you approach your writing and recording?
It's the gear. It's the fact that I've in the last 6 years, I've really, really sat there and learned every piece of equipment,
Mm,
and forced myself to like be a better engineer as well as a musician and as a lyricist and a songwriter.
mm.
But yeah, and the other thing is a willingness to listen to my friends and to work with people that I want to work with, you
Nice.
know.
No, I like that. It's funny, like, because when you started back in '93, obviously digital and everything was just almost a pipe dream, was just sort of starting then, and it's evolved over the time. But your sound has stayed. I don't know how you've stayed the same, still had that sound, but the technology's evolved with it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun to be able to go like the song Face Down. Like I wrote the bass line for it, and then I sang lyrics over the top of it immediately and
Mm,
came up with the song. And then it was written in like maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Even the lyrics I just it literally was like I typed it and said it, and it was done. But then I sent it to Johnny Radke, and Johnny Radke took a couple weeks and like played all these guitar parts over it, and then sent it back. And I was like, oh wow, cool. So Johnny
awesome.
played on it, and then
Mm,
I would put overdubs in it. So it's amazing that I can get my friends involved quickly and have them work on it, as well as different people in general. Like,
very good.
yeah,
That's great.
it's really cool that I can literally just send an entire song to someone over the internet and get it back, and
Yeah,
like, okay, cool,
we're good. We're done.
we're done.
Yeah. Now, if we don't get to chat within the next couple of years, which I'm sure we probably will, but Short Bus turns 30 in a couple of years. I just want to talk about that for a second, because what's your best memory of releasing that debut album?
That was a big deal because I had quit Nine Inch Nails,
Mm,
and when you quit a sure thing, like you best better have something going on in your life to justify that move.
yep.
And like even my parents were like, you better freaking bring it, dude, if you're gonna release it. So I released Short Bus, and I felt just vindicated that like when it went platinum, and all the when it got all its
Yeah.
accolades, it was kind of like, oh wow,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thank goodness I didn't make a huge mistake of my life by leaving Nine Inch Nails.
Mm.
I had actually made it with Filter, and everything's been gravy ever since. So
Awesome. I love that. So let's look back over your career, because it can be very easy to say what can change over time. But what's the one thing that's always remained the same?
over my career,
Yeah.
um, just my voice. My voice has stayed the same for years and years
Mm.
and years. I mean, it's gotten stronger in many ways. My pitch is getting a little bit better over the years, but it's been consistent the whole time. I'm very, very blessed to have this vocal cord, and
Mm.
it's the one consistent thing that I've had this whole time, that and my fingers to play guitar.
Excellent. That works for me. Now, with your career spanning almost 30 or 30 years this year, what's still on the list of things that you'd like to do you haven't yet achieved?
I, I would like I would like to go on tour and bring more lights or something. Just have bigger production. Like we've always been such a nuts and bolts kind of show. I wish we could play bigger places and bring in tons of lights and have more more lasers and special effects, I guess you
That's
could say.
cool. Pyro, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, pyro, why not?
Yeah.
Might be cool, who knows?
If you're gonna do it big. That's what I say.
Yeah.
I like it. Now, I always like asking the question called "I wish I wrote it." So, is there one song in the world you wish you wrote, and what would that be, and why?
Oh man, one of the many songs that I wish I wrote was probably The Unforgettable Fire by U2.
Nice.
Like that is the most elegant, gorgeous piece of music,
Mm,
and it's so linked to the studio, like to their process in the studio. But I mean, obviously, The Long and Winding Road,
yeah.
by Paul McCartney, that is just one of the most gorgeous melodies ever created by a mortal human being,
Mm,
and Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. I mean, I could go on and on and on.
yeah. So many.
Um, but yeah, Sex Type Thing by Stone Temple Pilots, I think is great. It's
Yep.
just a great song. Um, Shove It by the Deftones, Viva Sex 6 by Skinny Puppy, The Land of Rape and Honey by Ministry. Who knows? I
You got
mean,
such a range from Paul McCartney to
I go to
Ministry.
everywhere. I really do. I love all kinds of music. I mean, I would have loved to have written Today by the Smashing
Yeah,
Pumpkins, or
right.
just an amazing, gorgeous piece of music.
Yep. Well, you just made me a playlist for the day, so thanks very much. I'll just
There
go
you
and put
go.
those. Yeah, I like that. Now, lastly, let's look ahead to the future with a prediction. So I want you to finish this sentence for me. By the end of 2023, Filter will.
Have put out a great new record and will be getting ready to go on tour in Australia and Europe and the United States for sure.
See, that's a really, really good way to end the year. I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Richard, thank you so much for your time, man. Absolute pleasure to talk to you again. I can't wait to see you in Sydney.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
We're going to bring it. It's going to be awesome.
sounds good. Good
Really
luck with the
looking
record,
forward.
man. It is amazing. So hopefully we'll chat
Thank
again
you.
soon.
You got it. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for the interest.
Thanks, mate. See you later.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.